It's time now for our Critics Corner, and in the hot seat tonight is entertainment writer from the Delaware County Daily Times. Neil Zorin is here. Welcome.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah.
And, well, congratulations to you on this show.
Well,
how wonderful.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we're going to talk tonight. We're going to talk about theater.
Yes.
And we're going to start with the Phantom of the Opera, everybody's favorite. People love Phantom of the Opera.
Well, it's been running for 28 years on Broadway and even longer in London. But the important thing is the production coming to the Academy of Music through April 13th is a new production. And it stars somebody from Voorhees, New Jersey.
Oh, get out.
Her name is Julia Udine. She's playing Christine Daae. And she feels like she's recreating the part because they have a new director. It's not the Harold Prince production. New sets, new costumes, new choreography. So people are actually seeing a show that toured London, toured England last year, but had not come to the United States yet. So it's not what you would see, same show you'll see on Broadway. It is by Cameron Mackintosh, same producer, and the same music as Andrew Lloyd Webber, but it's new. And that's what excites me, is that you have something that is 28 years old and it's new. I'd love to be new every now
Different production. Well, that's kind of like the opera. You know, the opera's always been like that. You know, they have to, it's been around forever, so they have to renew it and make it fresh and, you know, kind of reinvent itself.
And I think that's what they did. I think they realized that it is older, and let's take another look at it. And while most plays have had revivals by now because they haven't run for 28 years straight, how would we look at it if we were doing it new today? How would we look at it? And that's what's happening at the Academy of Music.
And the Academy of Music is our treasure, one of our treasures in town.
Oh, definitely. It's not always the best place to see a play, but get the parquet seats.
Yep.
The parquet seats are expensive. They're $160 for weekend nights, $140 for regular nights. But there are other seats. That's a good thing.
Plenty of seats.
Plenty of seats.
Okay, so this is going to creep people out or enthrall people. You're going to tell me a new show, Hinckley.
It's going to enthrall people.
Okay.
Hinckley is at New City Stage at the Adrian Theater at 2030 Sansom Street. And it's about John Warnock Hinckley, who, of course, tried to kill Ronald Reagan on March 30th, 1981. But the great thing about this play is, you know, I didn't know because it's a world premiere. So it's by a Philadelphian, Ginger Dale. It's with a Philadelphia company and all Philadelphia actors who are wonderful. Sam Sherborne, who plays Hinckley, is great. But the most important thing is it juxtaposes everything. It takes place in John Hinckley's mind, but it shows about how he was affected by the killing of John Lennon and how he not only at first was mad at Mark David Chapman. He wanted to kill Mark David Chapman because he killed his hero John Lennon. Then he gets jealous of him because now Mark David Chapman is famous, so he thinks, who can I kill?
This is so twisted.
Yeah, right, it's twisted. And
wonderful, of
course.
course.
It's real because it shows his mindset. And it goes into the politics of the time. Ronald Reagan does not appear, although John Wilkes Booth appears, Lee Harvey Oswald appears, and John Kennedy appears, somebody who was assassinated. And it goes into other subjects. It goes into gun control. It goes into mental health. And so it talks about a lot of things. It shows Hinckley's parents, but mostly it shows that mindset. He wanted to impress Jodie Foster. And he thought he could do that by killing somebody. When he saw Mark David Chapman getting that much publicity for shooting John Lennon, but this is my way to get publicity, and Jodie Foster is going to love me now.
Well, you have sold me. So quickly, because we have a couple more things to get to. Pride and Prejudice.
Pride and Prejudice is a beautiful production of People's Light and Theater Company. There's been 3 Pride and Prejudices this year. This is the one that captures the Austen essence and has beautiful dancing, wonderful performance by Marcia Saunders, Juliana Zinkel as Elizabeth, and Mark Levasseur as Mr. Darcy.
Okay, well, you're going to come back because we're going to talk Rocky when you come back because that's really tied to this area. But I want to let everybody know what's coming out with new movies.
New movies? Well, there's a couple of things. One coming up is saw last night on the screen was The Weekend, and that's great. And that's coming in 2 weeks. We have the Grand Budapest Hotel, but the main thing is Veronica Mars. Veronica Mars, you remember as a television series, and then it went off the air, and they always wanted to do a movie, and now it's come back as a movie. It's like watching a great extended, not like Sex and the City. This one, it really works. You feel like you're back in the Veronica Mars world. Kristen Bell and the cast is back.
And it's got a cult following for this show.
Deserves it because it was a lot of fun. It's not that it's a great script, but it has that good old Hollywood sarcasm in there. Everybody has their line. You see all the people. You see Kristen Ritter back after the girl, you know, the girl in Apartment B, and she plays the sort of the villainess in this, and she's great. But Kristen Bell looks fantastic. So it's sort of like nostalgia, but in a way that works. If it was brand new, you'd still love it.
And finally, the Mechanic is out this weekend really quickly.
Yes, and the thing with Mechanic is that it's the last
Thing Corey Monteith
did.
Well,
and so and he does play an edgy character.
People
in it.
have a lot of choices for the weekend. Neil Zorn, so happy to have you here. Delaware County Times, thank you so much. As we go to a break, take a look at some of the other movies at the box office this weekend. Welcome back. This is part of the show that I like to call All Hart. Each week we're featuring someone or an organization that's doing something inspiring, someone who is truly all heart. And this week I want to introduce you to Steve Liberati from Steve's Club. Welcome, Steve.
Yes, I'm very excited to be here.
Very excited to have
Yes.
you. Well, you know what? You're doing some really cool things for the kids in our area, and you've created Steve's Club. And tell me how it all started. You were telling me a little bit before that you were working in Camden, and things started to roll from there.
Yeah, I was working in North Camden. I was working for my father's pest control company. So I was an exterminator killing bugs. I got to meet a lot of the kids in Camden. And once I got to meet a lot of kids, I had a lot of stereotypes before I went in there. I got to meet a lot of kids. They were great kids. I saw that they had great attitudes. They had a lot going for them. It's just they had a very bad environment around them, and they didn't have all the tools they needed to succeed. So I started a fitness club in a small rec center, and
There we see some of the CrossFit. So yeah, you started a club for kids, and tell me what the kids are doing here. Fitness.
fitness. So
Living healthy and...
Yes, so we brought fitness, nutrition, we have mentorship, and a big part of it is just guidance, guiding the kids along and showing them that there are other options. And it's, providing a structure that they need.
So it's not just, in addition to it being a body thing, it's also about the mind and how these kids can go forward and live good lives.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the body, the physical training side of it, that's very important, but that's the hook. And that's the hook to get them so I could talk to them and get to know them on a very personal basis. I definitely believe that they would not be open and talk to me about their issues, their problems, if they didn't respect me as a coach, as a trainer, and they didn't feel comfortable and they didn't like what they were doing.
Sports and music, always a good way to get through to kids and to get through to
Absolutely.
anybody, really. So tell me about somebody who's come through your program. Anybody that off the top of your mind that you see making a difference in?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many kids, just looking back over the years, so many kids I'm very proud of, and so many kids that have benefited from the program. I mean, I just thinking about it, I had one kid that stands out, that comes to mind. I don't want to use his name.
Okay.
He was very involved with the gang life in Camden, and he was, definitely getting involved with the wrong people. And I was able to, not single-handedly, as part of the club, we're able to show them that there's other options. So we gave them an alternative to the gang life, really making them feel that there was a family, that we were here to support them, and to show them that you could do other things. You don't have to live that life. And it all came down to a near-death experience where he was almost killed that really had him just change his outlook on life. And that was like more or less the springboard of his change for him.
Yeah, and a lot of times kids don't, people think it's not so difficult, but kids don't realize that there is a choice, or they don't really have a choice that, after school or during the day, where do they go, what do they do? It's not so easy all the time.
No, absolutely. And a lot of times it's just being in a positive, a safe environment. And then, once they're in that environment, it can unlock a lot of their talents. They have gifts. They have things they don't even know they have. And I think that's what really makes the change. And
well, you're obviously doing a lot of great things and helping a lot of young people. And in addition to doing that, you brought a bunch of stuff here today. To my left here. Tell me what it is.
So about 6 months into the program, I put the kids on a nutrition challenge, and I told them I said we had to lose weight. We would check their body weight to make sure they're making progress. And their biggest complaint was there's no food to eat at lunch. So there's no good, healthy food options during lunch. So I used to like making beef jerky on my own. I put together some beef jerky in a bag with some nuts and berries for them to eat on the go. They loved it. And one day we put it online as a Girl Scout cookie model to raise some money for our club, keep the wheels turning, and it went viral. And then before we know it, we had a business and we had the kids that were helping us package to make the food product.
And it's really true, quick food is usually never good food. It's potato chips and candy and just junk,
Unfortunately.
But This is really neat, and I told you earlier, my husband thanks you because he is a fiend and a crazy person for jerky. So this looks like a lot of stuff that he's going to be really into, and the kids are into it too as well, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
And the food's very clean, it's unprocessed, no preservatives, so we're very proud of the food that we offer, and that helps support our program.
Well, I'm so glad that you were here today. Steve Liberati from
Yes.
Steve's Kids, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're all heart. You're
Thank
all
you.
heart. Thanks to everybody, all my guests, and a special thanks to Boutique Warehouse for the duds. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.